This has been a lot harder than I expected. I've canned before, but this has been harder than I expected. I made it through the brisket that I didn't want to go bad.
I don't know why it's...
I don't know. So I'm starting by washing them, jars, just in the camper because it's easy with the faucet. I just got mainly Ball pint-sized mason jars. I guess Ball and Care are made by the same company anyway. Pint size, it sounds like, is what we'll be mostly using for just 2 of us. Maybe we get a bigger family going someday and we'll be using quart size. And then when we eat with Bob and Robin, we can just open up 2 jars. So I'm gonna get these guys washed up, cleaned up, and then we're going to, hi guys. And then we're going to cut enough meat to fit 8 or 9 jars, because that's what I can fit in my 23 quart canner. Get them canned and so forth. I don't want to have a ton of jars sitting on the cabinet or on the counter that are going to take me till midnight to can, I guess. See how long that first batch takes and make sure we're not going to be pulling an all-nighter to get like the whole brisket canned. The ground beef I did freeze because it was leaking a little bit of fluids. The big thing is I don't want this brisket to go to waste.
Directly wired together.
In the breaker box?
Yes.
Expert.
Next level.
So what are you doing?
Gonna take the electrical out, and then we're gonna tear that wall down. So it's a sauna, bathhouse. Get a shower in here. Sauna. Right now it's kind of a lot of storage, but
Right, but usually it would be a sauna with the benches and the big barrel stove.
yep. But
Excuse me.
tearing out the sauna, turning it into a guest cabin. So we're gonna tear this wall out, take the sauna out, put a smaller wood stove in there, and set it up for guests / us to sleep in this winter.
I do laundry in here. One of these days I'll do a video on that. Cool. You're gonna do that while I can?
Yippers.
You know what? I probably need to wash this. Little snag. These are, I had been storing some lids in here like a stupid head, and they kind of rusted on sometime in all that storage time. I tried wire brushing it. We don't have any steel wool. Wire brushing it's really not working. It's not getting any of it off. But Google says it's fine. Google says any 80-year-old grandma that is canning has a rusty canning rack and no one died. So I'm gonna do it. On the bright side, we found a bunch more jars in there that I forgot about that I stored. These are the culprits of the rust. I won't be using these unless I can get them cleaned, because that just doesn't seem right. And then I don't really like the way, oop, I just spilled it. These lids, those will probably get thrown away. That just doesn't look good. So not worried about those, not using those. But we did find some more jars, which is good because they're expensive. So those will stay to get washed still. This guy's ready to go.
In there?
In here. And I need you to show me how to start this.
Matches.
We have matches right here. Ah, spilling. Wait, you just need to cover these a little bit. told you it's gonna take a lot of water to do this. Alright, call it good.
We'll turn it on.
Oh. There's a dog hair in there. Wonder whose that is. You need to show me how to start this. Senor.
You're such a good helper. You're such a good helper.
So it's just kind of like the old one?
Yeah.
Light us all on fire, at least we'll have it on video. Woo! Saw that coming.
I thought that would take a while.
It's really touchy. Sorry, Gus. Did I get in your way, sir? That's a hunk of meat, dear. Hopefully I don't... Come on. Come on. I can do this. Pregnancy has made me grossed out by things that never would have grossed me out before, so raw meat sometimes is one of them. Wish me luck. I'll wrap the rest of this up for now. Okay, I'm good. I'm not grossed out.
Good.
I mean, I might be a little grossed out, but I'm not like throwing up. It's so stupid. Have any idea how many animals I butchered? Should try and do something with this fat I'm cutting off, huh? Those are gonna be good chunks of fat. We'll keep those. I think that's about the size I'm going for.
What are we making?
So this first batch, I'm just doing the meat, like the 1 pound of meat in a pint, right?
What did we do before? Those were just meat, right?
It was all just meat. So I mean, we'll see how much it takes to fill the 8 or 9 jars of just meat. I like a little bit of both, meat and stews, because stews are nice because you just dump them in and you're good to go. And I would make stews out of the last ones, but just knowing, you know, if we can save some of these for around December, it would be really nice to just have jars that we can dump in a pot on the wood stove when the baby's here. I just want to be a part of things. We have a bunch of good meat all cut and ready to be canned. This fat, I'm going to find something to do with it. I might grind it and save it for moose burgers someday, freeze it. Setup is definitely the worst part, especially having like my running water in the camper, but the space to do this in here. If the mosquitoes weren't so bad, I would just do it outside the camper, but they are just something else today. So we're gonna just keep running back and forth. It's gonna be a lot easier someday when we have our own cabin and we kind of know what we're doing better. I'm really excited about this Camp Chef burner. It's a double burner. The Explorer 14 is what we bought. I want to say it was like $140, maybe $160. But we used to have just like a single burner turkey roaster, and we decided to get this guy for canning specifically, and just knowing that our lives are really going to depend a lot on canning in this life. So we did splurge a little bit on that guy, but I mean, it's already so much better than one burner and should last a long time. So this is my meat situation. I will say I ended up with a lot less usable meat than I expected. I knew it was going to be a super fatty cut. I knew brisket would be fatty. I didn't expect so much more fat than meat. So, you know, we'll just chalk it up on the live and learn lessons to be had. What I did was I separated, obviously I've got the fat here. I've got the really lean pieces here, there's a little bit of fat, but the really good lean stuff is in this bowl. This is the fattier stuff that I think is still perfectly fine, but I'm gonna try and keep them in their own jars, lean versus fatty. And then this is the stuff that I kind of trimmed off the fat, but just doesn't have enough meat on it, I feel, to really be usable, just way more fat than meat. That I'm gonna save for dog food, whether I freeze it or can it. I haven't decided yet. I'm still using all of it. I'm gonna be grinding the fat for moose burger for the future. Hopefully we get a moose this year, because I'd really rather not be doing all of this anyway before winter, because not only is it obviously way more expensive than if we got a moose, but it's just not how we want to be living up here. So hopefully we'll get a moose and lots of salmon, and this will be the last time I really do this, but it's a really good way to learn. I'm not mad I did it. I was a little disappointed in how much fat there was, but that's all right. It's life. Hopefully this is focused, but I just want to prove over here it says for raw pack, do it in hot jars. So I'm just saying, YouTube just told me it needs to be cold jars. This says hot jars. I'm going for it. Nobody should die. Just wanted to prove that. I'm going to start with the lean meats. These jars have cooled off a bit, but mixed info on if I want them cold or hot. So I just I'm just canning. I feel like that's what great-great-grandma did. I'm gonna put that with the fat. I'm just canning. We're done here. Got a butter knife. That's all I have to try and get all the air out. See how many jars I get. I did not get wide mouth jars. Everyone is throwing an absolute fit that that's all they'll do. They were a lot more expensive than the regular mouth jars, and I don't see why it would be an end-all be-all. We're having a day. Bolt hurt his paw. I don't know what he did, kind of above his paw, and decided that that meant he had to get on the counter and broke some mugs of Bob and Robins. So that's cool. But I'm here sharing the life, so I'm sharing it with you. Anyway, I think he's taken care of now, and my jars are ready. There's not as many as I planned, but this is it was a half a jar, so I got some potato and carrot in there for a stew. These two guys are going to be dog food. We'll do one on each side of the stew so I remember which ones they are. And then we've got 4. Ooh, it's warm. 4 meat jars. There's space for one more in the middle. I'm thinking about just canning a jar of water, so I don't want any of these falling over. Really, I could probably fit more than one more jar, but one more jar would probably do it. I could probably fit 2. I might fit 2 more and just can a jar of water so that these don't fall over, and we'll just save that for, I kind of like the idea of canning water. I've watched some videos on it for like emergency wintertime water, so we'll do that. Right. 1, 2. This has been a lot harder than I expected. I've canned before, but this has been harder than I expected. Just not having a setup, feeling like I'm getting mixed directions. I made it through the brisket that I didn't want to go bad, but I'm gonna take a break and decide if I have it in me to do any more. I do have some sausage I wanted to can. I have a recipe for that, but if I do more, I think I'm just gonna do carrots because it's a short time for canning. I can just chop them up. Here's my flame. I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit. Okay, we are canning. There's a 10-pound weight. I'm giving it a minute to see how much rocking it does before I adjust heat. And I just got these jars washed. Gonna get them sanitizing, boiling in here so that I can get all of these. I doubt all of them, but so I can get some carrots going. So the fat is ready to go in the freezer. You'll want to freeze it partially before you grind it. I know that much. So I'm just going to freeze it and we'll start eyeballing a hand grinder. Then I'll probably grind it and refreeze it in freezer pack bags. So let's get some carrots cut up. Watch this guy. For the raw pack again, I have one recipe I'm looking at. I'm not letting Google answer my questions. I am just following the recipe or die. So we're not getting confused. We are just canning some carrots. That's the one I already peeled. Seems like most canning videos show you the process once all the food is prepped, the jars are prepped, their area is set up. They don't show how long it takes to get there, and I think that's where I got left frustrated, is you just get in your head of like, yeah, this is so easy. You just throw food in a can, food in a jar, and some boiling water, and boom, you're there. And it's just not the case, and I know that because I've done it before, but I thought I'd get a lot more done today. That's the story of my life, though. We're learning together, and don't ever take my advice. I say that every video. Don't ever. I'm never giving advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. Maybe someday we'll how-to it like crazy, but that day is not today. It was a lot of work, but I'm glad I did a second batch. This got every single carrot out of, I want to say, a 15-pound bag, maybe a 10-pound bag. Might have been 10 pounds. I'll have to look at the bag. So I'm pretty excited about that one bag would do a full batch of jars. One at a time, I'm going to fill these carrots with boiling water. I can do this without burning myself. Oh, a little bit of salt. Alright, I'm just gonna go straight in the canner. Whew, hot. Still hot. Excuse moi. Would you like a haircut? This potato plant is huge, and I am going to mound it in the bucket just by adding soil. That's why I planted them so low, so that I could add soil and get potatoes in the whole bucket, not just a little bit. We've got 9 pints of carrots. We have about 4 pints of like stew meat, beef brisket. 2 pints of that are, so 4 pints for us, 2 pints are dog food. We're just super fatty chunks that I couldn't justify putting them in the meat pile or the fat pile. So 2 jars for the dogs and 1 jar of a beef stew. So it's like some fat solidified in there, but it looks good still. And what I do, and of course, as I've said, I'm no expert, is I'll take that ring off and test the seal by holding it by the lid. So seal's good. It would have sucked if it was bad, because it would have fallen and Bolt would have ate a bunch of carrots. These are all good, ready to go. We'll get probably some shelving built in both cabins for storing such things. I will check all of the seals to make sure we don't have any loose ones. Actually, I'm going to store them without the rings, so I might as well just take them off. Make sure. Oh yeah, we're good. All good. Very nice. Anyway, we're going to clean up in here a bit so that the guys can tear the wall out and probably move the shower over to the big cabin. And then we'll start, it'll be a go to work on this cabin for us for the winter.
This one? So the goal today, yesterday we started some canning, tearing out the electrical in this spare cabin, guest cabin. Previous owners had it set up with a shower, and then this was a sauna in here. Don't really need the sauna. We're going to move the shower into the main cabin, so we are knocking out this center wall. We're going to put a smaller wood stove in here. And then the end goal is it's going to be a guest cabin. There's a loft up there, which can have a bed in it eventually. But for this winter, with the baby coming, we don't want to be in the camper. So we're going to set this up kind of for us to stay in this winter with the baby. And so yeah, knocking this wall out and put a bed in here, and we'll get a sink and some other stuff going on. It'll be a small space, but we've been living in a camper, which is just as small. There's Bolt sleeping as usual. Looks comfy. Upstairs, which, like we said, must be a double switch with that one. This also goes, says front lights. I think this one says loft. right on them?
No.
Yeah. Bomb. Well, that's it for today. Got the wall out. Just need to get the shower all disconnected without breaking the shower because we're going to reuse it. But it's the only shower, so we're going to use it.